pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any changes to the agenda tonight? Seeing none, we will move into our first session of public comment and post the policy on the screen. And we have some people in the audience, and maybe we have some people online who would like to speak.
I have this plugged in.
And this is our first session of public comments. We will have a second session toward the end of the meeting. Should things come up during the meeting that the public wishes to address. Any members in person want to speak right now? Great.
Ali Vitello, and I'm a resident of Jaffrey. And I'm here with the Working Together Jaffrey Ringe organization. And we raised a little bit of funds to help celebrate the New Hampshire School of Excellence Award. And we're here to just present the banners. This might take a minute to unravel them, but we have two. Yeah. And I need your hands too with this microphone. And they're like back to back. Thanks.
So while that's unraveling, could you please tell our public a little bit more about Working Together for Jaffrey and Ringe?
We'll take the whole 15 minutes.
Take your time. There is no hurry. Take your time.
We
Would
have two of them.
would they be
We'll have them turn
okay
around in
to show the camera?
Yep. Yep.
Like
I
if they turn this
definitely want
this
that
up.
as well. But we
Yes,
should-
they're both the same.
All right, this is gorgeous. Now I'm going to ask you both to juggle this, and we're going to do a turn so that your back is to us so the camera can see it as well.
That works.
Great.
Beautiful.
That is beautiful. So those will be in, well, I don't know if you can talk about where they're going to be installed, but.
All right. So tell us a little bit about Working Together for Jaffrey and Ringe, and then about the banners themselves, if you don't mind.
So I guess where we'll start is that Working Together Jaffrey Ringe is a group of community members who really feel strongly about supporting public education in our towns. The group was started The group was started when budget season was happening this past March, really in response to some of the amendments that were made during that process. And the group has really just continued to grow since then, feeling really strongly about advocating for strengthening our schools, properly funding them, and celebrating all the successes that happen in our schools every day. So one of those successes that we wanted to celebrate was the School of Excellence, because we feel like it's an important accomplishment that deserves to be remembered and really demonstrated throughout our community. So Allie has been leading up one of our action groups, or kind of subcommittees, and working together, really trying to build some relationships and collaboration between the towns and the community and the schools. Do you want to share a little bit about kind of how this evolved, maybe?
I guess so. Well, I was asked. And so I was like, sure, because I like to volunteer. And yeah, I've been meeting with a group of about 4, 5, 6 of us, depending on the day. And we just put our minds together and thought that the banners would be a really great tribute to the school. And so we've gotten some permission to install them on school property, so hopefully they'll be going up really soon. And also we have yard signs, which you might see scattered through the towns, that say something similar. So yeah, and more on the mission. I mean, we have other things down the pipeline here to work on, and we're ready and willing to get going on some of those things, so. One thing checked off the list, the banners.
They're beautiful. Does the board need to approve them being posted on school property? Do we need that? What is the consensus?
Are they being posted on school property? Where are they being posted?
Yeah, I think that, my understanding is that the select boards over in Ringe and Jaffrey were not able to give us any place in the communities to, or maybe they didn't give us it. Oh, if you could give an update, that would be good.
Yeah, so the original plan that our committee had developed was to ask both the towns of Jaffrey and Ringe separately if they wanted to partner with us in celebrating the success of our school. So we reached out through both letter and in-person conversations to the select board of both Ringe and the select board of Jaffrey. We have not yet heard a response from Ringe, so that has been a little disappointing, but we're hoping to continue to really strive to build some partnership there. And we did hear back from Jaffrey and have since followed up with the Jaffrey Select Board to get some more clarity because their response, there were just some things about it that were unclear to us. And so we followed up with them and we have not heard anything from our recent follow-up. So we're going to continue trying to, build those partnerships and form those relationships with other partners in the community, the select board is included. But in the meantime, we thought that we have these banners and we really want to start celebrating this huge accomplishment. So we reached out to the SAU basically to ask if we could use the school property for the banners for now.
So I think it would be a nice show of support if the board did motion and to accept this. I will let you know that the two locations that I've agreed upon putting them up is in front of the school out here that faces Stratton Road, so in front of the flagpole flower area, and then also Route 202. We have property on Route 202 that spans a ways, and so right out there, so that it can be seen by all individuals who go down Route 202 to Ringe or come from Ringe over to Jaffrey. Not just the people in Jaffrey and in Ringe, but also anyone who travels. And I think that's part of this, is to celebrate this and let people know that we have a great community.
Do you have so to put it up on that property, actually in both ways, will take sturdy supports and structures to keep it secure. Is that funding that we should approve? Is that funding from the committee, from the group? What would be the funding for that?
So we'll be providing the supplies, basically backing and posts for it. And then we had some conversations about perhaps grounds,
Working with the grounds
together,
crew to
basically
bring it
in
in.
a way
Yep.
that really improves.
Good. Okay. All right, we'll take a motion. And is there further discussion?
I'll make a motion that we
Except
Thank-
the banners.
thank Working Together for doing this and authorize them to put them up on school property. Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Sandra. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to echo other people's thoughts. I think this is a great thing, and it's, I think, that admirable to continue to try and reach out, to these different stakeholder groups within our community, to try and celebrate the successes. I think we all feel here probably that, the strong public schools benefit the community as a whole, and, I think to continue to try to get that message out there to people that will listen is important. And I think celebrating this achievement and letting people know there shouldn't really be anything too objectionable about that. I think we're proud of it, the community should be proud of it, and it's a great way to show it. And I think coming from an outside group is important.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. And any opposed? And any abstain? Okay, bill passes 6-0-0. Thank you guys so much for this work that you're doing with this. And we're looking forward to continuing to see you on social media. Again, it's working together for Jaffe and Ringe. And this is a really neat, and you guys recently got your nonprofit status, correct? Is that right? No, 506? What did you just get?
We have our we have received our New Hampshire certification so far, so we're in
Great.
the process of attempting to gain our 501c3 on the federal level.
Nice, step by step, that's awesome. Thank you guys
And
for this work.
because that comment was made, what, you name and location of,
Great, yes, Megan Berger, and I live in Ridge,
okay, perfect.
Okay, thank you guys.
And you're the treasurer?
and I'm the
And
treasurer.
treasurer. Lisa, could I just make one additional comment that when the banners were first made available, Rubens asked about the value, because if it's over $500, then we'd have to approve the acceptance of the gift. But it's not. I think the banners were $105 a piece, something. So if we raise some more money, then we'll put one at each of the elementary schools as well, perhaps. So.
Have you checked with the towns for a sign ordinance?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes, and it was interesting because when the selectmen first said that they didn't want to, or they couldn't approve the initial request, which was made by the board, a request was made to them for a copy of the sign ordinance to better understand, and they gave us a sheet of paper, but turned out that wasn't the sign ordinance. Someone at the town pointed out that the reason for that was that the sign ordinance was kind of long, and the selectmen maybe hadn't read the whole thing, so that's why they gave us the sheet of paper instead. So, oh, and if I may, there was some interest in going to the selectmen and just asking them for their guidance on signs and things. One of our school board members, at least, Judy, has said that she would be willing to go to the select board meeting on Wednesday if, I know at one point you said, Ally, you might be able to do that?
I was planning to.
Okay, I'll go too.
And perhaps maybe, I don't know if any other school board members would be interested. Like,
I'm a little nervous that Rob Duchesne's going to show up and say the sign's got to come down.
hey, Rob actually sent an email, saying that, should be okay based on what
Okay.
we said. I would be glad to send that to you. Because we wouldn't want to get
He's a
questioned.
little persnickety.
Well, he's, that's right.
Yep.
He takes
Takes his job seriously.
Exactly.
Am I the only one who's noticed like 6 signs at every corner in like both these towns for various companies?
I
Yeah.
know. I
Maybe the
know.
approach is just don't ask.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
plus,
There are a lot of signs.
Yeah.
there are a lot of signs.
There's very few as big as ours are going to be.
I don't know, there's some big ones, windows and things like that around.
All right,
So-
any further public comments? Nothing on there? Anybody else in the front lines here? Okay, and we will move on with our agenda. All right. Ruben, do you have a superintendent's report for us today?
Yeah, I'm going to be brief. We've had a really great start to the school year still. So last time we met, I said that, and let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. But one area that is certainly different, and I think it's important to bring up, is because as it really relates to our budget season, I know we're going to have the budget conversation shortly thereafter, and we don't have a facilities director The decision was to keep the elementary schools whole as much as possible, and the SAU would figure it out for a period of time. So a team of us, myself, Carrie, the business administrator, Kristen, the one who works with me in the front office, we've taken on the kind of ownership of the facilities and getting things operating, and it has certainly been a learning curve. These are just some examples of some emails that we send out weekly now. We're sending out, the goal is weekly to send out emails as to facilities updates, like what's been done or what's to come. So for instance, this is just an example of September 6th, sent out an email. Okay, Precision Temperature came out to serve the propane and clean inspect at the mods. Brady Plus is a vendor that we have. They've done all the hand sanitizers in all the elementary schools. Budget Blinds is coming out, and I have an update on that. You know, we have the quotes. We've put the POs in place. So both of the elementary schools that needed blinds for safety purposes are going to be getting those. And I point this out because there's been a fair amount of conversation. We've already had some emails this year about safety because of things that are going on in the world. It's certainly a heavy time that we're living in right now, and with some other school violence that has taken place, it's been overshadowed by other situations, and it's still something that we are focused on. And so, you know, we're making sure that all of our elevators are getting inspected properly. Everything that needs to be inspected routinely is getting you know, worked on. Froling is the company that deals with the wood chips or the wood pellets, and we've had our tune-ups done for our heating, which is good. We get it done early on. There have been times when that hasn't happened. We've had a lot of things happening just going on. We've been out without a locksmith for quite some time. Some of that has to do with just contracts. We need contracts. We need people who are going to have insurance of a certain level in order to do business with them. So Carrie was able to go out and find 2, 3, 4 groups of individuals. One has worked out for us, and so we're getting some much needed work done. The goal for that is to get everything to a good baseline and then start to plan even more for the future as to how we can improve our lock system around the school. No, all schools. We're going to be working on finalizing the RFPs for the track replacement and for the window replacement this coming summer.
Can I interrupt? What's an
Yeah.
RFP? I don't know that.
Request for proposals.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then the Ever Alert monitors, like we have a clock system right up here, the Ever Alert monitors. That's a significant part of our communication in all the schools, but also the safety, because we can put safety and do put safety alerts on there for drills or for real situations, as we've had in the past year. And so we had several that were needing to be replaced, and they had been for quite some time. Kristen did a great job. We ordered 10 more, got those out to the school. She programmed them all. So they're out. Now we've taken all the old ones where we got all the boxes from the new ones, so we can send those back to get repaired. And so we'll have extras, so we're going to have a nice new cycle. So we're getting into a nice rhythm, which is very good. So again, there's more, but these are just some examples of some communication that we've been sending out. The water bottle filling stations over RMS, they are all fixed, so RMS has all their water bottle filling stations all situated. That happened shortly thereafter. I didn't even know about it, but we had, put the balls in motion anyway. But just wanted to let you know that we're looking at those facilities. We're focusing most importantly on safety and on health and well-being, and so that's where, and then we're trying to make improvements where we can. So getting systems lined up, getting them in place, making sure that we're communicating, dealing with all the scenarios around safety. Toward the end of the year, the board had allowed certain amounts of money to go in to fix all the speaker systems in all the schools, and that was done so that there was appropriate ability to get to everybody through that type of communication as well. The thing that's not on here that we're working on right now is we're working on the safety of the athletic fields, an area that perhaps hasn't been thought of as much because we are, focused on locking, right, and keeping in. But out there, it's a little bit different. So Heather's been working on working with some companies so that we could do advertising and collect funds that way. Some of that through video, some of that through the music and so forth that we already do. And one of the projects that we're working on down there is to put a pole, we'll call it a flagpole. It may not be a flagpole, but a pole that would go behind the bleachers that we'd be able to put a camera there that will be able to be used by, so that anyone in the nation would be able to pay and see whatever games are being played on there. And we'll do that in the Pratt Auditorium as well, for plays and for sporting events. But we thought that while that's happening out there, we might like to put an extra camera out there for safety, a security camera that would face into a dead spot down that area, but also speakers, because what we are doing, we just signed a contract to put Wi-Fi down there for the first time and a landline, which, believe it or not, there isn't one down there. And so all of that working together, it's not going to be a terrible cost. We're going to get it all situated in the next month or so, hopefully, and just have a safer area down there, and one that allows for better communication in general. So I'm excited about that, and we're moving forward with those sorts of things. Heather's been a great champion of that. Also looking at budgetary needs, we lost a grounds person in this last budget as well. We don't expect that that's going to be put back into the budget this coming year. I don't think that's going to be the priority, but we do have some real work that needs to be done that takes a lot of time, and our fields in general take a lot of time to line for all the sports and stuff. So Carrie found a robot solution, and so we had a demonstration this past weekend for a subscription for anywhere between $7,000 and $13,000 a year. A robot that will come and will actually uses half the paint of what we use on a regular basis, and can do the field in a tenth of the time of one or two people working together, and so that like someone can mow the lawn in one location while the robot through GPS is doing all the lines and everything quite accurately, by the way, as we had a demonstration down here. It's used by the New England Revolution and so forth, and so we were really excited about that. We'll also paint parking, depending on the package. I say it's a range because they will even do your parking lot lines, and so we could even do lines down at the field, for instance, if we were to get this before homecoming, which I'm not sure we'll be able to, but if we were, the fire department has been asking us for, get some lines. It needs to be better, better organized because of safety, getting emergency vehicles in and out and so forth. So if we can, we'll try to do that. And it's a very exciting thought process, and Jeremy, our grounds person, is excited about the possibilities. So there's a lot more that we could talk about, but that's kind of the highlight of things that we're doing, trying to find efficiencies, trying to find ways to be able to work within a budget going forward for years to come. Again, robot won't do everything, but if we can, get some artificial intelligence to be able to work on our behalf for some items that will save us some time, so that the rest of the individuals who are working here in our school system can focus on other areas that we can keep on improving, is my point, and also try to keep that budget flatter in certain areas.
Thank you. Any questions, comments?
Yeah, just, the mention of the loss of a grounds person, grounds maintenance person. We also, of course, eliminated our facilities director position. And these are all, fallout from the budget cut. We were able to save preschool and sports, but there's many other things that had to be...
For a year.
Yeah, right, for a year, that's right. That's right, we saved those things, but unless our budget is successful this year, they won't be back. But I'd like to congratulate, well, I guess thank the superintendent and the maintenance staff and also our administrative staff, because this is heavy work for our business administrator as well. But keeping things going, and the focus on safety and of the facilities is important to all of us. It's important to our parents, to our students, to our whole community, so.
Yeah, just one more thing. This may be a little bit more appropriate for the facilities committee, but worth saying here, I think, as we're approaching budget season. I remember sitting on that committee and seeing, and also just knowing from work how expensive, like a really comprehensive, updated security system is. And, you know, you're going to spend $500,000 and, you know, won't even address, you know, very much, right? If you're just talking the locks in all 3 schools and having an up-to-date modern system.
Yeah.
And for that reason, primarily, we haven't, you know, pursued that. If you look at our locks, they're not, these things are great here, but I think, I've always thought it might be interesting, or maybe an idea to, like, take a security, safety type approach, maybe a multi-year approach, and have that as a separate warrant article, rather than embed it within our budget. I think if people saw really that granularity of what you're getting, and I think everyone hopefully would agree that it's important to have safe schools, and this is what it's going to be getting. And I think it becomes difficult to put, I've seen the quotes that we've gotten before, and it's like, oh, we're just going to change the locks at one school, and it's going to be how much? You know, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's just what it is. It's not a made-up number. I don't know, I just think I know we'll be talking about budget season soon, but it might be an approach, or even using, you know, capital reserve type funds. I'm not sure, but I agree that it's important, but that we, you know, those are great to keep things going, but I think
Yeah.
we can all acknowledge that there's probably bigger projects that we could do, you know, if we had the money to do it. I think
Sure.
we'd do it right away. So just something to think about.
Very good point. Very good point.
I want to say I really liked seeing the number of staff involved when you showed those quick slides. There was a number of different names involved. You have a very strong team, and you're really delegating different areas, and just a number of people are involved in all these pieces at the different schools, and it's not all on one person, which is really crucial right now. That this is really a group, you know, effort, a lot of different eyes on things, much like Carrie had said when she did that, her budgetary talk, about how many people's eyes are on things. You know, this isn't one person saying, oh, we need this, let's go this way. There's so many people involved. So that was just another example of what, you know, I'd just like to see that. It feels healthy when you have that, numerous people really involved.
Lots of checks and balances. There
A lot of check and balances. Many of them, you know, different people using the same, you know, companies for the jobs, and so no, that's good to see.
And right now, we're working on trying to add vendors, more and more companies. We got to have the right, you know, we got to be able to move a little faster, and so some of our vendors are busy, and that's great. But we need to be able to find some that maybe are a little bit less busy, you know, or could fit us in, you know, in
Or
some.
at least committed
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
school district.
Right. But you know what, that comes to mind, I actually like seeing this too. I liked seeing the vendor names up,
Yeah.
because actually a lot of people watch this, and a lot of local people watch this, and so what cool advertising to say, yes, well, this is New England Locksmith, and they're going to do our locks. And, you know, it's like, I didn't know who to call for a locksmith. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so no, let's do more where we're showcasing the vendors
Yep.
that we're using. This is a YouTube channel. You know, this is a media. So, you know, the more, I don't remember us really doing that too much. But yeah, let's get people's names out there.
And, you know, probably the vendor that's been the most reliable for us is Precision Temperature. I think it's temperature control. So much to do with our HVAC system, but also the water bottle filling stations and our system over in Ringe for the boilers and so forth. So, yeah.
Great.
They're very responsive. We've got a couple different electrician groups, some of them working on bigger projects, some of them working on smaller projects. So we have people in the community who are local to the community, know this building very well. So I know that we're having a kiln put in there very shortly. So that work has all been planned. So it's good.
Very cool. All right, on to the consent agenda. As there are no changes, we have manifests. We have payroll, donations from Jeffrey Grade School Parent Group to go toward the Harris Center visits for the pre-K, New Hampshire New Hampshire Dance Institute, residency, and grade 5 hike at the Harris Center. And again, I love the partnership that's built with the Harris Center and how that's growing. That they're working in all the schools. That's a great program.
And the Harris Center has been a good collaborator with us, and we met with them last spring, and they indicated that they would still support us to a certain level, even with not being able to pay for things. So they've been great. They've found some funding to help us out.
And thank you to the Jeffrey Grade School Parent Group for assisting in that funding substantially, actually. That's quite a bit of, that's a good amount of money. We have 3 nominations: Jason Headley, advisor for middle school flag football; Cody Gadsby, co-coach varsity co-ed golf; Summer Langio, para for JGS. And we have a stipend list, and that is our consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda.
Thank you, John. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Sandra. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Passes 6-0-0. On to the minutes. We have non-public meeting minutes for August 4th, and we should look at that. So only the people who were there should be approving these, correct? No, we can all approve these. We can all
We were all
approve.
there.
No, yeah.
I think for the non-public,
Who was, we were all there.
Judy might not have been on the
Except for Judy.
4th.
Yeah.
On the 4th.
Yeah. Okay, so we should, for the non-public, that's what we're going to work on first. Do we have a motion to approve the school board minutes non-public for August 4th, 2025?
I will make that motion.
Thank you, Christine. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Chris. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed and abstain? Judy? So that passes 5-0-1. And we will approve the minutes for the non-public meetings, August 18th and September 8th. And those are sealed minutes. Do we have to approve those? We don't have to approve those.
I think
I
you gotta
thought we
approve.
did that last meeting.
You
sealed
moved
them
to
last
seal
meeting.
them last meeting. You
No.
gotta approve them.
Got it.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're all working together.
Yep.
All right, motion to approve the minutes for the August 18th and September 8th non-public meeting minutes.
I wasn't at one of those.
You weren't here for
So you have to do them separately?
Yeah.
separate, okay. So August 18th, is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. John, second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Christine. All in favor? This is for August 18th.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Yep, and Judy, I think you were here for August 18th?
Aye.
Yeah, okay, pretty sure, yeah. All right. And no opposed, no, one abstain. Okay, so that passes 5-0-1. September 8th, non-public meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the September 8th non-public meeting minutes.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Christine. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Vote passes 6-0-0. On to the public minutes for September 8th. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
I move we've improved the minutes as presented.
Thank you, Sandra. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, John. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, vote passes 6-0. We have a request to waive facility fees for the Jaffrey Cub Scouts, Pack 33, for an open house event at the JGS Gym, September 25th, and for Cub Scout Pack meetings on October 2nd. Is there a motion to approve the request to waive facility fees for the Cub Scouts?
I will make a motion to approve the request to waive facility fees for the Cub Scouts.
Great. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Judy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Vote passes 6-0.
Why are we waiving this?
It's not rec department or town.
It's not a town, yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And next, the thing we have all been waiting for, people.
Anticipation.
The
Huh?
budget calendar.
This is normally when it comes out, and this does look very similar to the last couple of years' forms.
Some extra stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Carrie's likely online and certainly can chime in if needed, if she is indeed able to have, or was able to join us via Zoom. In creating this, we wanted to make certain that we were respectful of people's time. We asked all of our administration that's going to be involved, you know, what were some good dates, what were some not good dates for them, and so we built a lot of our calendar and our schedules around that. That's also helped us to build our own internal calendar. For instance, we're meeting with everyone. I think we already have everything planned in our calendars already 4 times with each group, each subgroup. Some of them all together, some of them individually, to make sure that we have an early start on our budgeting this year. We've given some direction already with the budget this year, without going, and certainly right now I say that because if the board has some direction for us on this budget going forward, we'd rather have direction prior to starting and engaging in a process. We know that the Finance Committee and the Education Committee shifted this year, and so we have probably some more meeting time scheduled here and some earlier meeting time, a lot more public-facing meeting time than ever, and so that's what this calendar represents. We made sure that in February, you'll see that the first deliberative session, barring snow, would be the 4th, which is a little bit earlier. The reason for this is because the last couple of years there have been some conflicts with some of our administration being able to be there and wanting to be there to be supportive and also maybe even present at times. And so this actually works for the company that does our live streaming as well. Gives us a little more time before the vote too. So you'll see that on November 3rd, we would start to, at the board meeting, start the conversation. And over to the far right, the action items would be what the categories of conversation would be. So you'd have your first presentation of that budget. The initial budget for the grade schools, the middle high school, and athletics and co-curriculars are usually embedded into all of those, but all of those individuals will be there. The next one, you'd have technology, food services, and the SAU. Technology, as small a budget in size, that is, it is we spend a lot of time talking about that. Student services is and facilities, that would be the next one, along with warrant articles. So we want to really start to fine tune the warrant articles. And the warrant articles usually center around student services and facilities. and any sort of negotiation that we have, and we do know that we are negotiating the JRSSA contract right now. We're in the early stages of that. And of course, the budget is a warrant article as well. And we won't finalize warrant articles or anything on that time, but we really want to be saying, all right, these are the areas we want to get the language for so that we can present it. And then the early in December, having all of them, and then a Saturday session. I think we have a couple Saturday sessions here that we're talking about. That is different. So we have one in November. Again, this is earlier than we've done anything, but really spending time on student services and facilities and the warrant articles just by themselves. We don't feel that a board meeting in the evening is adequate for those topics. The student service is a third of the budget. So facilities probably should be a lot more of the budget, but it's an area that we all know when you have aging facilities, you have to put money into it, but it's also an area that if we're gonna cut somewhere, sometimes that's where we are. Like we don't have a paint and carpet cycle going on right now, so we saved a couple $100,000 or maybe $100,000, $120,000 this year on that. But that's not a good thing to not have in your budget. So, and then of course the warrant articles take some time to really, everyone has to weigh in and think and be able to have conversation, and that takes some time. So the Saturday, the 6th, the hope is that we'd be able to do a general run through in maybe an hour, and then have the board be able to spend an hour or two deciding this is kind of what we're going to be doing. And then solidify anything, that we should be done at that point in time on the 6th, if at all possible. You know, we could be done on that Monday, the 1st, but I doubt that. So, but between the 1st and that 6th, that's where we should have our initial budget going forward. Again, the only change is really the 2 Saturdays. But that would not be for everybody. That would be for the board and for the people that are in those categories. And then the difference is, again, a week earlier than sometimes for deliberative session. Meeting locations might be a little different in a couple of these areas. I think that we put on this calendar, the first session would be at the CMHS Pratt Auditorium. I think we switched something else to Ringe. Oh, here we go, right here. The budget and bond hearings followed by school board meeting and so forth right here on this Thursday, that would be in the RMS cafeteria, yeah, rather than their gymnasium. Okay.
Could you go up to the November dates again for me? I have a thought for the board to consider as we discuss this. If we look especially at the first one, all of these have a lot of conversation, a lot of reporting in. I'm wondering if we want to change the start time to 6 p.m. and move any of our non-public conversations to after the meeting if that's necessary. But just give us a little bit extra time to have these conversations. I mean, I would seriously say 5 o'clock, but we actually need dinner. But would the board be amenable to changing the November dates, the 3rd, 17th, and 22nd? Sorry, the 3rd and 17th, excuse me. So changing our school board meeting time, public time, to 6 o'clock, and then moving non-public to later when we need it.
Yes.
As needed? Does that sound like a... Okay. Can I have a motion for that?
Sure, I'll make a motion that we move our public school board meeting times for 11:03 and 11:17 to 6 p.m.
Thank you, John. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Chris. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Thank you. Passes 6-0-0. Appreciate that, guys.
Is there anything else that you are looking at right here that you'd want to change before voting on this entire schedule? I mean, a lot of this is, toward the end, is just by, the time schedule is by law. don't have a whole lot of
Right.
wiggle room. It's the early stuff. So this will be, the most public-facing
Yep.
approach we've ever taken. For, not kind of. The facilities committees are always open to the public, but,
Finance, yeah.
yeah, finance.
This isn't with regard to the
Yeah.
approval dates, but I think this makes sense in having it earlier and more
Yeah.
public-facing.
Mhm.
But I'm wondering, and I guess I'm looking more to more experienced members on the board and how it's been done in the past, but I think the last 2 sessions that I've been involved in, we really haven't had much, there's no real budget committees from towns, there's not a lot of participation. It's basically us there with maybe 1 or 2 people for a while. I think it would make sense for us to make an effort anyways to reach out to, I don't know how it's been done in the past, but I think it would benefit us to get some participation in these early stages here and, maybe take advantage of that transparency, right? It's out there, but if we're all just meeting, talking to the same 3 and 4 people, it doesn't do us much good. So I don't know. We don't need to decide right now, but, I know other towns have like a budget committee, and I know we invite people from the town to come and maybe get, like I said, I remember like 1 or 2 people coming for portions of meetings, and I think that's worked against us. Go ahead, John.
I think that's a very good point. And, our format is a budget advisory committee, which I think is the right format, because that leaves the budgetary decisions in the hands of the school board. But getting public participation, I think, is very important. And I know for myself, 4 years before I joined the school board, I joined the Budget Advisory Committee. And I did so because there was no one from the town doing it at the time, and I asked one of the selectmen, could I be appointed to that? And they said yes. And as a result, I came on to the school board having had the experience of sitting in the audience, and also, although I didn't have voting rights, I did have the opportunity to speak, to ask questions, and, participate in that way. It was very helpful.
And I think that's how generally those meetings have worked, right? Where I think that the budget advisory committee members get kind of a status, they can comment as we go along, I think, versus, members of the public. I don't think, like if 300 people show up at the meetings, I don't think we can allow everyone to interrupt. I don't know. I just think over the next few weeks, we should think about extending invitations, maybe getting more organized around that again. So transparency is great, but if you're not getting the participation in it, then it may not be as effective.
Gary Arcisi is the selectman's representative for the budget for Jaffrey. So,
Also our
good.
treasurer.
yeah, I don't know whose fringe is, but I know Gary, the selectman appointed Gary Arcisi.
And each town is entitled to 2 representatives. And in fact, one of my first years on the school board, it had been that Jaffrey had 2 positions that we were entitled to. Ringe had only 1, and a motion was made to correct that and make each town have 2 members.
All right, well, if that's how it works, then I don't know how the communication usually goes, but if we approve this, then however that communication gets to the town, requesting 2 participants, I think would be wise.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there any more discussion on the,
So we do need a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the budget development calendar as amended.
Thank you, John.
One second.
Thank you, Chris. Any further discussion? All right, all approved? Opposed? Abstain? Vote passes 600. In line with that, I would like to ask the board, prior to the November 3rd meeting, I would like us to set some norms for our expectations of our own conversations and listening and communication and what we would expect from the public. This is the most meetings that we've formally put into our school board. Like, this really is a brand new thing we're doing. Usually these conversations happen on afternoon finance meetings, and we're bringing it to the full board for the first time for all the meetings. And so we want public input. We want to be able to have good conversations. We want to be constructive and productive. So with that in mind, I believe that we should have some norms that we follow. And so as you're thinking about that, please email me what you guys think. This is how we believe we should have a communal understanding of how these meetings are going to be running. Please use our role of a school board information from New Hampshire School Board Association. Look at any policies you need for what, timing of things and who to contact. I know in the past it's kind of been very common for board members to reach out to different staff members here, and that's really not okay, and we did talk about that, and that's cleaned up beautifully. I really appreciate that, but we really have to protect the process. We really have to protect the process. We really can't go into this assuming anything. We really want to make sure we do everything right. So with that in mind, please consider what norms you'd like to set, and let's have that conversation next time. Okay? All right. Any further discussion items? Okay. We'll go into public comments 2. Is there a policy we can put up? And this is our second session of public comments for members of Jaffrey and Ringe to have a voice, have a say.
Yay,
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Thank you. Kathy Kozlowski, Ringe. I'm glad with what I was just listening to you say, Lisa, about putting some steps in place for these meetings, because I found myself wanting to start by asking a question, and I know I can't ask a question, but I'm hoping that during those meetings, the participants would be able to ask questions. And I just want to say that a common word, I think, in everything that we have been doing is communication, communication, communication. And I think the board has really been hearing that, and I know it makes me feel better. Thank you.
Yeah, in line with that, I'll comment back on that one. Bring a notebook when you're
usually
meeting.
do.
I know. But one norm that I would really like us to adopt, and the board needs to agree to the norms, right? But one norm I would like to do is to allow, it seems so practical, but it's so easy to jump in, and I made a mistake last week and jumped in, to allow whoever is presenting, whether it's Ruben or Carrie or a principal, to complete their entire presentation. Take notes on everything that we want to comment on, and then we open it up. Like, if we interrupt during a presentation, we lose things. And so that, I'm hoping that can be that's one of the things I want to talk about, but it's in line. Bring notebooks, like, write down what you want to say. So yes, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think what Kathy's probably getting at is that, like, during our normal sessions, the public can ask questions. We don't usually answer. Sometimes do, sometimes don't, right? Usually that would be for the hearing, but I think clearing up whatever the policy is for those 5 or 6 meetings that we have before the hearing, I think would be
Right.
helpful, because we don't want people coming and saying, hey, I'm here to participate, and that's
Right.
not it.
Can't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I don't think that's our goal.
If I can add one more thing, just as a reminder, I said this last time when Carrie and I presented, but especially Carrie, that one thing that we have added to, well, let me just show it to you rather than say it. One thing that we've added to the website here underneath the school board agendas is this presentation column. And so while the full recording is in this column right here where it says recording, and that should match up pretty well with the minutes. The presentation is a snapshot of part of the meeting. So if, for instance, we have, like last meeting, we had the financial procedures and audit controls.
Which was great.
Which was
It was a great one.
always exciting. Get the popcorn out on that. Watch it over and over again. It is good. It's a good presentation. And so the data presentation, public hearing, all these right here are so that individuals can go and see what maybe the biggest highlight was. And so we will do this for on those, the third, the next one afterwards, we'll do that for these budget presentations. And so the less interference we have during the budget presentation itself, the better the communication is. So that the better, like if someone, you know, is like, hey, I didn't hear what was going on with the budget. Why is the budget going up, or why is it going down so much, or what have you? Someone can go on to social media and say, here's a link. You can go and watch this, pay special attention to minute 7 and 30 seconds or something like that. That's where they really start talking about this exact same thing. You know, and not have to go through 3 hours, 3 hours of a meeting to try to sift through that, because that's not helpful, right? So.
All right, and furthering on, one second, just if I can, let's do the public comments, just make sure that we're not missing somebody else in the public, and then back to you, public. Is that cool?
Sure.
Good, okay. Alex, anybody else? No. Okay, anybody? Alicia? Yeah.
Just a little bit of, I guess.
Name?
Oh, sorry, Alicia Stennerson, Jaffrey. A little bit of feedback just in terms of the budget calendar. So I'm hopeful that you can do your best to promote this, right? I'm thinking like the newsletters that the schools send out on a weekly basis, really trying to highlight these events separately in the forms of communication that already exist. Of course, working together, we'll do our best to promote these to the people that are in our group as well. But I think parents are a stakeholder group that are often not involved in these processes, and yet the decisions that are made on this level most directly affect the parents and the children. I think also, with that said, the sooner we can get this information into the hands of parents, the more they can plan ahead. I know my calendar right now is already planning out into November. So a parent who might be interested in participating in this budget process, often the sooner they know, the more able they are to plan for that. So I'm hopeful that you can do your best to promote it as best as you can, and with forms of communication that already exist. And I don't know, I mean, I was sitting here kind of racking my brain, like, what can we do to get this information out to different people? Like, yes, you know, you're doing a great job sharing things on Facebook that reaches a certain amount of people, but we're missing folks, right, who are not being involved in this until too late, if ever. So I think that's related to the budget calendar. And then, Lisa, in terms of what you mentioned, just with the norms that the board might be establishing, I'm hopeful that perhaps one of the things that you'll talk about is maybe some norms around correcting misinformation in the moment. I think that's something that was really challenging to watch last budget season. And I'm hopeful that the board and the district can really collaborate on some ways to be more prepared, perhaps, and be able to take action to correct that misinformation in the moment that it happens, rather than having to come back and provide information after the fact. So just something to consider.
Alicia, do you think we'd get any, do you think we'd get any good response if we put it like in the ledger?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm wondering also if we put it in those Friday bulletins that the grade school and the principals put out, just a link, like it doesn't have to be the whole calendar, say, hey, these dates are coming up, your school's involved, this is when we decide next year's budget, and just a little blurb and then a link to that might be a good thing, just in those minutes.
And it may seem repetitive, but they do go out weekly. So I would keep
Yeah.
the information going weekly.
I would say that it's very helpful to, the budget season's long, and most people don't pay attention until the deliberative session, or at least, then and not voting day, but to understand that at the first meetings is when the schools and the departments come together with what they see as absolutely necessary for the next school year, for the safety and the success of our students. And you see that list and we say, yeah, this is all, none of it is frivolous. And then you start cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting to bring that number down. And I don't think that the public usually sees how much is cut. The principals are not coming to us asking for a swimming pool.
Just once.
Just once. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yep, they're coming with like, can we please get new Chromebooks or something essential? Can we have a new curriculum for math? And it's so important for people to understand that these are necessities and that we are forced to cut and prioritize. And to see that process is very valuable. And it would be helpful for parents to chime in, at least pay attention and be aware of what the principals want and need, what the students need, what the buildings need, and perhaps advocate for us to have a stronger and more robust budget.
Thank you, Christine. John, thank you so much for your patience.
Sure, no, absolutely. Thank you. There was something that Kathy said, and I may have misinterpreted it, but it's fine to ask questions. The only thing is that sometimes if it's a question that maybe has some policy implication.
And I get that. I
Yeah.
understand that.
But it's still okay to ask it. And one of our norms, we've stated, is that we will come back and answer that question at a subsequent meeting. And we don't always do it because we're busy, and we might not have time to discuss whatever the question was, but it's really got to be one of our norms to do that too. Also, I wanted to say sometimes there's a question on something like a date for the next meeting or for something that's going to happen. We'll generally answer those questions because it's not a policy question.
And acronyms.
Acronyms.
Yeah, acronyms. Well, I was going to exactly. So that's one thing, and the chair can control this. If a presenter uses acronyms, you could ask for clarification.
Damn it.
What is MTSSB?
Quit it.
Because otherwise people hear the discussion, but they're not knowing what it's about.
Distracting, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
They've stopped to think, what do you think that means? And they've missed things.
Distracting.
I think that's a good reminder at this point, as all of this information is being put together,
Yeah.
especially the school principals and others that will be doing this, to make sure that they don't use the acronyms.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And of course, they do among themselves, and that's
Right.
normal, but,
Yep.
yeah. And then I just had one other point from my notes that
Well done taking notes, John.
this is something I harp on, and probably will continue to harp on, but, communication is really important, but it's also work. And one of the things we did, not this year, but 2 years ago, was eliminate a communications position. And that was all part of our effort to keep our costs down. And, we're not alone in this. Ask any town government, they'll tell you, well, we have lots of needs that we don't fill too. But where the public wants information, or the public wants to see our, safe schools, and we don't have all the money we need, it's one of the costs, so.
Thank you. Any further? Okay, good. All right. Board matters. I'd like to do committee updates, but before I do that, I would like to talk about the school board delegation. The New Hampshire School Board Association Delegate Assembly is coming up. October 25th. It's a Saturday morning. And is there anybody who cares to volunteer to go to that and be our delegate?
October 23rd, you said?
Fifth.
It's October 25th.
25th, okay.
Okay. My commitment that day was canceled, so I will go as delegate if the board approves. Sandra, you made a motion last time?
I did.
Yeah.
We didn't vote on it. Let's vote on
Is
it.
there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Judy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay. All right.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Lisa.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah. Shut up, all of you. So what I will do is when we get the full, what we're voting for, probably for our next meeting or the meeting after, I will bring them for the board. You guys look at those over, so I'll email them to you, whatever we're voting on, and you look it over, and you need to tell me what to vote on. I don't vote for myself at those meetings. I vote as a board, okay? So that will be coming up. All right. Committee updates. Policy has an update that we are going to meet at 5 o'clock on October 2nd, that first Thursday of the month. We're keeping the first Thursday, but I have a change in my job position that I have a commitment on Thursdays until a little later. So that day does still work for me, and Chris approved, and Charlie also approved to change it to 5. So just letting people know, policy will be at 5 o'clock in the superintendent's conference room, October 2nd. I believe it's October 2nd. I should double check that. All right. Any other committees that have met?
Yes.
The Facilities Committee met. You saw most of the highlights of the amazing work that's being done by our very large facilities group. So I don't want to go into any more detail than we need to. I did want to ask Ruben about the water at the cafeteria at RMS, if there's been any progress with that.
Yes. So Rennes Memorial School, the past 3 years, there's been lead testing in all the schools. Rennes Memorial School has had more challenges than other schools, but which is why the water bottle filling stations, while they're good for all schools, it's essential for Rennes Memorial School. So we have the drinking water is perfectly fine in the school for everybody, and we have it filtered and so forth. The kitchen, however, needed to have some more work. So we had done some work about changing out some pipes, some corrosion pipes. We put some substances into the pipes to make sure that it would lower that corrosion for the future, or lessen it in the future. And then they are at the point right now where the state has sent us new testing kits. And so within the next week or so, we will be testing again, collecting the samples again, and then sending them back out to see if all of our remediation and any other work that we were doing to kind of fix situations in the kitchen area, if it's going to be at the level that we need it to be at. So and in the meantime, we continue to purchase water so that all the food is washed in a specific, with the water that we would not, that we would want to use.
That we presume has been tested. Because it's in a bottle.
Because it's in a bottle, right.
And we paid for it.
Containers, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all of those are moving right along.
And I did have one other note from the Facilities Committee meeting, which is that we did meet with a team from Northeast Renewable Energy. And
Right.
we had a Zoom call with them for about a half hour. 3 of their members participated. They have a proposal to us, which is kind of a reflection on the complexity of law. So we're already members of a consortium through which we get some kind of a rebate on our electrical energy costs. But it's a smaller rebate than Northeast Renewable thinks they can provide us. And they would not install any solar facilities on our property. However, because we are eligible as a public institution to participate with solar companies in using their energy, Northeast Renewable can set a contract between the district and one of these solar companies. They work with some 6 solar companies locally. And it would potentially result in a doubling of the benefit we already get from the consortium that we're a part of. And I say doubling, it's approximate. We don't have firm numbers yet. However, the representatives of Northeast Renewable are in conversations with Carrie, and we should have a number on that. And it could result in another, maybe a $13,000 savings. We don't know yet.
The number that they said during the meeting was $27,000.
Hmm?
27,000. That's a lot.
Yes, it is. However, I think that possibly, at least, we're already getting some of that benefit because there's a transmission cost and then there's a,
Right.
Distribution.
yeah, there's 2 separate
Supplier.
costs that our,
We asked them for some information about putting up items as well on our own property.
well, we did, that's right, that's right. We, although that wasn't part of the
No,
discussion.
they'll talk about it.
It's an interesting idea. Basically, we would be subscribing to a solar farm, if a location has many solar panels. So we would be buying energy more directly from them, which would allow them to sell it at a higher price than if they were selling it just to the grid. And we would get it
Right.
for cheaper than if we were just buying it straight from Eversource. It's an interesting idea. Never heard of that before. So,
Complicated,
yeah.
yeah.
I just know, I mean, I always choose my electric supplier, and usually the green energy costs more than the standard energy. So I know that if you go to the Eversource site, there's always like a rate sheet that's updated daily with what the prices are. And I think Jaffrey also has some sort of electrical supply thing going on now
Community power.
too. Right, so I don't know how that price would compare,
Yep.
but
Yep.
I know it's fluid.
Yeah.
Things change prices constantly.
It's pretty complicated. That, the mailer that came out from the town recently explaining the change in rates, it's something you have to look at pretty carefully to see what's
Yeah,
what's going on.
It's really tricky.
I'm assuming they didn't go down.
They did not.
Oh.
But the town, this is, what's it called, Town Energy? They're providing a rate that's guaranteed for
2 years.
two years, whereas PSNH is giving a rate that's a 0.5% lower. However, that's only guaranteed for
February
till
1st.
February 1st, so.
I think anything that we can do to decrease our costs, right?
Yeah.
We know that the rate is likely to continue to go up, but as much as we can do to mitigate it.
Yeah, it doesn't go down. Rates don't usually go down.
Yeah.
Any other committee meetings? Okay.
We do have a meeting coming up on October 16th.
That's what I was just going to mention.
Oh, good.
So could you open up an email that I just sent you so we can put it up on the screen, please?
Did it have a flyer on it?
It had a good flyer on it.
Okay, so if
How's that?
why don't we do this?
Because I want the flyer that I just gave you.
Oh, well, I think okay. Let's do that then. Let's open it up.
All right, show it on their website,
All
whatever.
right. Just
All right.
Well, I mean, I can go here. Right?
So back in April, we, as a board, voted unanimously to sign a a letter sent by the New Hampshire School Funding Fairness Project to Governor Ayotte to support fair funding of our schools. And we have been working back and forth with the group to be able to have a presentation from them. And this is not sponsored by the board, this is supported by the board. We kind of wanted to make that clear that this is, we're not running this. This is something that the board voted unanimously to support and encourage. And so on October 16th at 6 p.m. at Ringe Memorial School, the New Hampshire School Funding Fairness Project is going to be doing a presentation. This is a question and answer session, as well as lots of information about what we can do to really help our government see the need, to help eliminate the incredible burden that the taxpayers have to be running our schools, and we'll just learn a great deal from them. They're very smart people that have been working on this for a long time. And this event is a registration event. You do need to click on the links to register to this, which is, I think it was in my, in the one that I sent you, hang on, it was a different, I was looking through the same poster. It was a different poster on that. Anyways, so this is a registration event. You can go to the school website and you can click to it. It is on Facebook. If you type in the New Hampshire Fair Funding Project, you'll find it there too. I'm just trying to think if there was an easy link on it. All right, presentation, question and answer session, Ringe Memorial School Gym. Yes, okay. Sign up at fairfundingnewhampshire.org/events. And that's not on that poster. There. So fairfundingnewhampshire.org/events.
Is this a Zoom presentation, or is it in person?
It is not. It is an in-person presentation. Yes, thank you for that. This is an in-person presentation. Okay? So that is the link to the program. And I think if you go down to upcoming events, there we are. Cool. All right.
Can I just say, I appreciate the title, that it is, that by approaching it as our property tax is too high, it's a way of inviting many players to the conversation. It's not just about schools, it's about our community and the health and wellness of the ability of our communities to survive, actually. And so I appreciate that that's the title, that it really is inviting of multiple community groups and all residents to attend.
Yep.
Here's
Do
the
you know if there's going to
registration.
be anything in the newspaper promoting this?
I do not know. Again, we're not running it. This is there, so I do not have that answer. Can you scroll down just a little bit more? There was a little bit more information. I think it said it out. Join us for a 1-hour community conversation on how New Hampshire's school funding system impacts the Jaffrey Ringe School District with local data, court updates, and time for a Q&A. So this is directed toward Jaffrey Ringe. This is a New Hampshire organization, but they are directing this conversation toward our communities. Okay? So that's an important piece. It's not just this in general. This is directed to us. Okay? Cool. We will take another amendment unless there is more to discuss.
Just that it is going to be advertised in local papers.
Oh, good. Thank you.
And my goal is, because we have kept money in the budget for communication, so we do our quarterly newsletters. We will be starting to work on that newsletter next week and should have it out before this time, which will go to every door, every home in Jaffrey and Ringe, inviting. Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, with information of how they can register. You do have to register in advance.
So there's a mailing going out soon? Is that what you just said?
Within the next 2 weeks, we will hopefully mail out our first newsletter,
Cool.
talking about the beginning of school, maybe our
Are they going to turn someone away if they don't register?
They need to have a certain
I
amount
think
of
they
people.
I think they need to have a
So,
certain number, and also the
yeah.
materials, they need to make sure they have the materials for them.
I get it.
Yeah.
Right, so yeah, it's to make sure that we have a number of people that are coming. Can we get the budget calendar somehow linked, somehow noted in the newsletter?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
No, that's definitely gonna happen. Yep.
Cool. All right. And do you want a picture of that sign? If it's going out in a couple of weeks, do you need a picture of the sign? Do you?
We'll have it up, and I'll be able to take a picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might
And,
be
and actually,
mentioned that.
I have a picture on my email
Good.
turned,
All right.
but I can rotate it. I can rotate it. So
All right. All right, we'll take a motion. Oh, you guys
I'll
are
make a
so
motion
cute.
to
You want to
adjourn.
stay.
I'll second.
Thank you, Chris. Christine, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? All right. Passes 600.
Awesome.